Hello and welcome to the MHS Rewind Studio on the campus of Martinsville High School for Inside Artesian Athletics.
Joining us today is head coach Brian Duggar. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Excited to get this year off and running. It's always good to do Inside Martinsville.
Well, Coach, last week, you guys played Bedford North Lawrence. What are some things that you think went really well that game?
Well, I mean, overall, I thought we played pretty well. Week one's always tough. You go in, there's going to be mistakes made. You're going to do things that you know that you don't want to do. But I thought overall, especially offensively, we executed at a pretty high level. Obviously, lots of mistakes to clean up. Scored 27 points, had a 100-yard rusher. We were close to 200 yards passing. Some points were left out there with some snaps and some mistakes here and there. But 27 points, that should win us most weeks. So defensively, we got to be better. I thought we got out of our gaps quite a bit. And honestly, point blank, we just struggled to tackle at times. So obviously going to be a kind of a key for us this week is focusing on those gaps and tackling. But at the same time, we said keep getting better. We talk to our kids all the time about going 1-0 every day. We got to go 1-0 today and get better.
All right, Coach. Well, you got a big week coming up playing against the Purple team. How do you feel? How can you prep for that?
And that's the beauty. That's kind of the beauty of kind of our philosophy of, whether it's a big game, a weak opponent or a sectional championship or a state championship, the mindset has to be to go 1-0 every day. If you go 1-0 on Monday, 1-0 on Tuesday, 1-0 on Wednesday, Thursday, then you take care of business on Friday and get a win. We talk about stacking days, putting days on top of each other and not really worrying about the other team. Worry about us. Do our job, respect the process, go through, put in the work we're supposed to, and then Friday night takes care of itself if you do things the right way. But that being said, anytime you're talking about a rivalry game, there's a little bit more, excitement, a little bit more energy in the air. Crowd will be a little bit more into the game. So it's really just about managing all that, getting your kids to kind of go back to what we talked about and just play 1-0 football. Play our brand of football and go 1-0.
Obviously, this week, big game, the Purple team from down south. Mm-hmm. This rivalry goes way back. Is there something that, you and the team are hoping to pull out this week in front of the Artesian crowd?
Well, I mean, this game means a lot to a lot of people around here. You go back to the 84-0 game where they lost in Coach Siderwitz's first year and then coming back the next year and winning the game and, just kind of, setting a tone for that kind of hatred, if you will. And I've got guys on my staff, Nate Dilley and Rob Helms who've been here forever. It means a lot to those guys. It means a lot to them that just make sure the kids are excited and into the game. It's one of those things. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Gabe Johnson, the head coach at Bloomington South. We've gone against each other since I was at Southport as the OC, and he was actually the DC at Bloomington South. So then we kind of both got the head coaching jobs at the same time. And we had some really, really good games when I was at Southport. We just back and forth games and, to kind of carry that over against Gabe now is fun. We know each other well. We know what each other's going to do. We know the strengths of our offenses and our defenses. And it's fun, for us. This is one of those games that it means something. It's something that you circle on the calendar, not just us, the families, the community, they're going to be jacked for this game. I don't know that we have to pull out anything special to answer your question. It took me a long time to get to that answer, but I don't know if we do anything special. But the reality is we got to do our jobs. We got to go 1-0. And then when you do that, when you stack plays on top of plays and days on top of days, that's how you go 1-0 and do something special. And the crowd gets real excited about it at the end of the night.
So, Coach, is there any key players on the B South team that you're really looking at and want?
That's a great question. This Bloomington South team's a little bit different than the ones of the past. The years past, they always had a really good running back and a really good receiver and maybe one or two really good defensive players. This year, it's kind of, they're 22 just really, really good football players. I don't know that they have anyone that really stands out, but as a unit on offense and on defense, they stand out together. I think they're really well coached. They're really fundamental. Their offensive line is spectacular because they work so well together. They're like elephants on parade. Like, I mean, they're attached at the shoulders and they work together really well. So I don't know that there's a player. I mean, their quarterback's a 3-year starter, so he's a really good football player. But overall, I just think they're just one of the best 1 through 22 teams that were 1 through 22 on the depth chart teams that we're going to see all year.
Okay, and now on the Artesian side of the ball, are there any players that us as fans or you guys as coaches are looking out for to make big plays?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any secret that the ball's got to be in Landon Casey's hand. I mean, he's our best player. He's our all-state kid. Had 11 catches last week for over 100 yards, 5 or 6 carries, a couple kick returns. We want to get the ball to Landon. That's no secret to anybody. And I think we've got other guys that have stepped up really well. I thought Christian Kuntz ran the ball really hard. I thought Chase Davis played really well. I thought he managed the game really well, threw some really good balls. And then Riley Butler and Landon Johnson were really good out wide. And I thought our offensive line did a really good job. We talked about our defense, need to be a little bit better, but I thought Joel Sumner had a really good game. I thought, we had a lot of first-time starters in the secondary, a lot of babies out there, if you will, sophomores and juniors for the first time, and really not to give up deep shots. I mean, we gave up one on the first drive, I think, down the sideline. But other than that, to not give up a bunch of deep shots was pretty impressive as well. So, we just got to keep getting better every day.
So, we noticed that Riley Butler went down at last game. What do you know when he plans on being back? Or
yeah, I mean, the hope is this week, right? The hope is this week, and he's good to go. And obviously, Destin Wolf came in and played really well. So we talk all the time about next man up, right? That's the job. Someone gets hurt, next man's got to step up and do the job. And I thought Destin did a really good job of that. And hopefully Riley's good to go Friday. Hopefully we're a full slate, and I think we're close. So we'll go with that. And, if he's out for an extended period of time, then, we got to have guys step up.
Now talking about Chase Davis, he went 21 for 30 last week, threw for 191 yards. Really bouncing off a performance like that, is there anything we should look out at him for this week?
He's just got to keep growing. I thought he did a great job managing the game. He threw a lot of really good balls, a lot of really good reads. He made a mistake or two here or there. That's going to happen. But I thought he managed the game really well. I thought he did a good job. We didn't have any silly penalties that we've had in the past. I thought he just did a great overall job of managing the game. I just expect him to grow. We need him to have a big year. We need him to have big games every week. He's a really good football player, and we need him to be successful.
Okay, so on the defensive side, Joel Sumner, how can you expect him to, as a leader and as a captain of the team, how can you expect him to lead that defense to better positions, I guess?
Well, I mean, some of it is just some of those guys are going to have a game experience under their belt. You know what I mean? That first taste under the lights under varsity football is different. You don't understand it until you do it. I would say I would expect our defense to be a lot better this week, even though we're playing probably a better team. But I would expect them to be better, just having gone through the fire a little bit and gotten a week of experience. But I mean, that's part of Joel's job. I mean, unfortunately, you got jobs you got to do, you got roles, and his job is to get everybody where they're supposed to be. He's captain of the defense, one of the captains of our team. His job is to get everybody lined up, get them in the right spot, and we got to have them execute at a high level.
Now flipping back to offense, obviously you mentioned, you want to get the ball to Landon Casey, and a good second option would be Landon Johnson. Landon Johnson, a junior, with this being like his first year playing varsity minutes, how's he looking, we're coming out of week 1? How's he looking?
Well, I thought Landon did really well first game. I think he had 5 catches or 4 or 5 catches. I can't remember the exact stats, but Landon was solid, and he's got to keep getting better every week. We talk about, doing the little things each week, whether that's the blocking, whether that's setting up routes for your next route, stacking your routes. And, he's a kid that's very skilled. He's a kid that's very talented. And again, he's just a kid that's got to keep growing. We've got a lot of guys this year that are young, not a lot of varsity experience, and we just got to have them grow up. And the quicker they grow up, the better we'll be in the long run.
All right, Coach. So we talked about a big game this week. What are some key plays or situations, I guess.
Well, keys to us be successful this week. Defensively, we got to be gap sound. That's the first thing. We got to be in our gaps. We got to own our gaps, and we got to fly to the football and tackle. If we fly to the football, tackle, get guys down, I think we'll be really good defensively this week. Offensively, it's kind of our same thing. We got to take what's given to us. If they're loading the box, we need to throw the ball. If they're going to spread out, we need to run the ball. Everyone in the state who's ever gone against us knows that. But we got to take what's given to us, and we got to execute up front. We got to play physical. We need to play physical this week, and I think that's across the board, offense and defense. So I'm hoping you're seeing a different version of the Artesians, a little bit more physical this week.
Well, good luck, Coach. Thanks for coming out to join us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great job, guys.
Well, that's it for the first episode of Inside Artesian Athletics. For Owen Hansen and the rest of the RTV2 class, I'm Parker Bentley.
Thanks for watching, and always remember to enjoy the ride.